Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have an invisible superpower? To destabilize you with a single sentence, a specific look, or even a calculated silence. They know exactly where to press to make you explode, and when you finally lose your composure, something devastating happens. You've just given all your power to that person. Here's the brutal truth no one tells you about toxic relationships and emotional manipulation. The person who loses emotional control loses control of the situation. And manipulators know this instinctively. While you're trying to defend yourself, justify your actions, or prove your point through intense emotional reactions, there's a completely different game going on beneath the surface. This game isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about who maintains control. And the number one rule of this game is simple. Those who react emotionally lose. Those who remain calm win. Not because calm is beautiful or admirable, but because calm is pure strategy. It's concentrated power. It's you keeping the reins of your life exactly where they belong. In the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly why toxic people collapse when you refuse to lose your cool, how your composure acts as armor against manipulation, and practical techniques based on neuroscience and Stoic philosophy to transform your ability to remain in control even when everything around you is trying to destabilize you. What you're about to discover goes against everything you've been taught about expressing your emotions and being authentic, but it will give you a level of personal power most people will never experience. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece over 2,000 years ago had already deciphered one of the most liberating secrets about anxiety and personal power. You don't control what happens around you, but you do have absolute control over how you respond to it. This distinction seems simple, but it's revolutionary when you truly internalize it. Most of your anxiety, frustration, and feelings of powerlessness come from trying to control things that are beyond your control. Other people's behavior, external situations, unpredictable outcomes. You're wasting mental energy trying to move mountains with your mind while ignoring the only thing you can truly control: your own reactions. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this and you will find strength." Translating this into your practical life, when someone provokes you, you can't control the provocation, but you have 100% control over whether you take the bait or not. When a frustrating situation arises, you can't go back in time and prevent it from happening, but you can choose whether to wallow in emotional reactivity or breathe, process, and respond strategically. This shift in focus from external to internal dramatically reduces your anxiety because you stop fighting impossible battles and focus your energy where it truly matters. Think about how many times you've spent hours ruminating on what someone said, mentally replaying how you should have responded, rehearsing imaginary arguments in your head. All that mental energy was wasted trying to control something that has already passed and that you never controlled: the other person's actions. Now imagine redirecting all that energy toward what you do control, deciding that next time you'll pause for 3 seconds before responding, deliberately choosing a calm tone of voice, training your facial expression to remain neutral. This is real control. This is applied power. This is the Stoic principle working in practice to reduce your anxiety and increase your effectiveness. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have an internal radar that detects exactly when you're about to explode? They know which button to press, which word to use, which tone of voice to adopt to make you lose your cool. And here's the brutal truth no one tells you. When you react emotionally, you're not just losing control of the situation. You're handing over complete control of your life to someone else. Your composure isn't just an admirable quality. It's literally your first line of defense against emotional manipulation. Think of your calm as an invisible armor that protects you from targeted emotional attacks. When someone tries to provoke you and you remain calm, something fascinating happens in their brain. It short circuits. Emotional manipulators operate with a mental script where they act, you react, and they gain power. But when you break this pattern and respond with composure instead of an outburst, you're not just defending yourself, you're completely disarming their strategy. It's as if you're taking the fuel out of the fire they're trying to light. Neuroscience clearly proves this. When you remain calm under pressure, your prefrontal cortex remains in control, allowing you to make rational and strategic decisions. The person trying to destabilize you is usually operating from the limbic system, the primitive part of the brain that seeks immediate and emotional reactions. You're literally playing at a higher cognitive level. Your composure isn't passivity. It's pure strategy. It's you keeping the power exactly where it belongs, in your hands. Here's an uncomfortable truth that will completely change how you view your emotional reactions. Every time you explode, scream, cry in anger, or lose your composure in front of someone, you've just sent a silent but crystal clear message. This message says, "You've discovered my weak spot, you have power over me, you can control me." And toxic people, emotional manipulators, and narcissists are experts at archiving this information and using it repeatedly against you. They don't need a manual. They just observe where you bleed and strike right back there. Think about how many times you've reacted emotionally to a provocation and later regretted it, not because of what you felt, but because you showed it. Because the moment you lose control, the power dynamic instantly shifts. You cease to be the one in control of your own narrative and become predictable, manipulable, and controllable. It's like playing poker face up. You lose all strategic advantage. And here's the cruel detail. Manipulators know this instinctively. They test your limits not by accident, but by design, to map out exactly where you're vulnerable. Robert Greene, author of The 48 Laws of Power, makes it clear. Whoever controls their emotions controls them. Game. When you react impulsively, you're dancing to someone else's tune. But when you deliberately choose not to react, when you take a deep breath and maintain a neutral expression, while internally processing strategically, you completely reverse the game. Now it's the other person who's left confused, frustrated, and unsure of their next move. You've reclaimed your power simply by refusing to give it away. There's a brutal misinterpretation most people make that costs them dearly. They confuse calm with passivity, composure with weakness, silence with cowardice. This is one of the biggest misconceptions about personal power. The truth is exactly the opposite. Remaining calm under pressure doesn't mean you're accepting disrespect or swallowing the risk. It means you have enough control over yourself to avoid wasting your energy on impulsive reactions that don't serve your interests. Calm isn't the absence of strength. It's strength under complete control. Think of the most powerful people you know or have ever observed: leaders, elite negotiators, figures of true authority. They don't shout to be heard. They don't explode to be respected. They don't lose their composure to prove a point. On the contrary, they speak softly, and everyone leans in to listen. They maintain neutral expressions while strategically assessing the situation. They respond with surgical precision, rather than emotional outbursts. This is because they understand something fundamental. The calmer you remain externally, the more threatening you become to those hoping to destabilize you. Harvard social psychologist Amy Cuddy has demonstrated through her body language research that a calm and controlled posture not only projects confidence to others, but literally alters your internal chemistry, reducing cortisol and increasing testosterone, the hormone linked to assertiveness. When you choose strategic calm, you are biologically strengthening yourself while the person trying to provoke you is wearing themselves out in frustration at not getting the reaction they expected. Your calmness isn't weakness. It's the most visible manifestation of your inner power working at full throttle. Now let's move from concept to concrete action, because theory without practical application is just decorative knowledge. That doesn't change anything in your real life. The simplest and most brutally effective technique for maintaining your composure under pressure is the 3-second pause before responding. It sounds too basic to work, but here's what happens neurologically in those 3 seconds. You interrupt the amygdala's emotional hijack and give the prefrontal cortex time to reassert control and create a mental space where you choose your response instead of being controlled by an automatic reaction. Those 3 seconds are the difference between reacting like a wounded animal and responding like a strategist in total control. In practice, it works like this. Someone provokes you. You feel the emotional wave rising, and instead of opening your mouth immediately, you take a deep breath, count to 3 in your head, and only then respond. What happens during this pause is magical. The other person becomes slightly uncomfortable with the silence. You gain a psychological advantage, and your response comes out calibrated rather than explosive. Another powerful technique is what negotiation experts call reverse emotional mirroring. When someone raises their voice, you deliberately lower yours. When someone speeds up theirs, you slow down. This creates a contrast that exposes the other person's emotional imbalance while highlighting your strength. But here's the secret that turns these superficial trick techniques into real behavior change. You need to train before the pressure, not during it. Take 5 minutes a day to visualize situations that typically unsettle you and mentally rehearse your calm, collected response. Elite athletes do this before competitions. Professional negotiators do it before critical meetings. And you can do it before challenging interactions. When you train your emotional response in advance, it becomes automatic when you really need it. You're not faking calm. You're literally reprogramming your neural circuits so that calm is your default response, not a constant struggle. Now you have access to something most people will never discover, because they're too busy reacting emotionally to every provocation, handing over their power to those who know exactly how to manipulate them. You've understood that your composure isn't weakness disguised as maturity. It's literally your most powerful weapon against people who want to drain you, control you, and destabilize you. And from now on, every time someone tries to get you worked up and you choose the 3-second pause, you're not just protecting yourself, you're completely inverting the power dynamic. So answer me honestly, how many times will you continue to hand over your emotional control to people who don't deserve even 5 seconds of your energy? How many more pointless arguments will you have before realizing that true victory isn't proving your point by shouting louder, but by remaining calm while the other person crumbles in frustration at being unable to affect you? The difference between people who are constantly manipulated and those who radiate quiet power lies in a single choice: controlling what is controllable, which is your response, and letting go of the rest. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, because in future videos we'll dive even deeper into emotional protection, strategies, reading manipulative behavior, and techniques for building a presence that naturally repels toxic people. Each video here is a real tool, not empty motivation. And remember, the next time someone tries to destabilize you, take a deep breath, count to 3, and watch the power instantly return to where it should always be: in your hands.